10 electoral votes is one of the most important swing states happening in this upcoming election between Donald Trump and Joe Biden. Wisconsin is very much in both Trump and Biden's pathway to winning the presidency. Wisconsin can make or break each candidate's chance of winning depending on how some of the other toss-up states go. So I cannot just understate enough how important Wisconsin is for both Trump and Biden's pathway to victory. With that said, this video I'll be going over how Wisconsin voted in 2020 and 2016, what to look for and what to watch for on the 2024 election, and how things may go. So first things first, I'm looking at the state of Wisconsin from the 2020 election. Wisconsin voted for Joe Biden over Donald Trump in 2020 with 49.6% of the vote to 48.9% for Trump. This was a flip from the 2016 election where Donald Trump was able to win Wisconsin, rather surprisingly, by a little under 1% of the vote. So how did this happen? Well, for one thing, look at Milwaukee County, and it's 69.4% of the vote for Biden to 29.4% for Trump. Milwaukee County, it's 317,527 votes, made up about 19.5% of Biden's total statewide vote. So 19.5% came just from Milwaukee. And then if you go over to Dane County, where Madison, Wisconsin is, which is the capital of the state, Biden gained 260,000 votes, or 121 votes. And that's about 16% of the total state. So when you add these two counties together, they combine for about 35.5% of Biden's statewide total vote. So these two tiny counties make up over a third of Biden's total statewide vote. This is in similar range with a lot of other swing states and other states that I've gone over, where the Democrats have usually a few counties that are not super big in terms of land, but are very densely populated, where most of the people, or a lot of the people, live in those counties. Whereas Republicans, as you can see, a lot of their counties are a lot bigger. They have a lot more land in the counties, but the number of people living in those counties are smaller. So it becomes kind of like a race between, can the Republican counties, which are massive land-wise, but a little bit smaller population-wise, do they have enough votes when they're all combined to make up for the really big, densely populated Democratic areas like Milwaukee and Madison? So that's those two counties. They make up over a third of Biden's vote. Now, what about for Trump? So as I mentioned, Republican counties are a lot smaller population-wise than Democrat ones. So Trump isn't going to have a city giving him like 200,000 votes or anything like that. However, Trump's biggest margin in terms of raw votes was in Waukesha County. And this one for Trump, he got 159,000 votes in this county for Trump. This is the biggest like singular county win that Trump is going to have. And I combined a few other counties, and even those combined totals did not reach what Waukesha made. Waukesha's 159,000 votes for Trump made up about 9.9% of Trump's total statewide vote. So, again, one of Biden's counties made up 19%, one made up 16%. For Trump, the highest one is just under 10% of the vote. So, again, that density versus like land size disparity between Biden and Trump there. But Waukesha County is a very big, important county for Trump. And next, I want to go over Outagamie County, and Brown County. These I've nicknamed the Green Bay area because they're both kind of split in between the city of Green Bay. And the populations on their own are decently sized, but since they're both Green Bay, I combine them together and kind of as one like super county. And when you do that, this makes up about 8.3% of Trump's total vote. When you look at it, it's 1.6 million compared to these two counties. This makes up about 8.3%. And then two very important counties on the southern eastern part of Wisconsin, which are very much like kind of swing state like counties, but for counties, like very close, very contested, are Racine County and Kenosha County. These two, again, I added together kind of in the same way that I did with Green Bay. These make up about 6.2% of Trump's total vote. So they're not as big as the other two that I did, but they're very important, and definitely if a Republican is going to win, they have to be performing well here in these areas. So now this is where I'm going to get into some of the margins of the counties themselves and kind of go over what we saw in 2020 versus what we saw in 2016. So, starting first in Milwaukee County, Joe Biden got 69.4% of the vote in this county. If we go back to 2016, we're going to find that in Milwaukee County, Hillary Clinton got 66.4% of the vote. So a 3% difference, or 3% increase for the Democrats from going from Clinton to Biden. So that definitely made a very big impact. And when you look at the raw vote numbers, I did the raw vote numbers as well. I'll be going over this in a second. The vote numbers alone are very, very important for Biden. But again, I'll be covering that in a second. Dane County, which is where Madison is, as I mentioned earlier, Biden got 75.7% of the vote. 75.7. In 2016, Hillary Clinton was able to get 71.4% of the vote. So Biden actually improved on Clinton's numbers by 4.3% of the vote in Dane County. And I also just wanted to show, again, the Democrats outside of Madison and Milwaukee don't have too many massive Democratic counties or city counties, but I did just want to pick one, Rock County, which has a decent number of Democratic votes. In 2020, Biden got 54.8% of the vote. Hillary Clinton in 2016 got 52.4%. So what I'm trying to convey here, listing off the percentages of Biden's support, is in the key Democratic areas of Wisconsin, Biden did a few points better than Clinton did pretty much all around. And that's why Biden got 49.6% of the vote and Hillary Clinton got about 47% of the vote statewide. Biden didn't have to really reinvent the wheel to try and win Wisconsin. He just had to improve the margins in the areas that Clinton got in 2016 by a few percentage points. And that's exactly what he did. And now looking for Trump, going back to Waukesha County, he got 59.7% in 2020. In 2016, he got 61.6%. So Trump actually went down by 1.9% in Waukesha County, which was his biggest vote total for him. Which could be another reason why maybe Trump lost this election, was the margin of votes in Waukesha went down for Trump and went up for Biden. Biden got more votes in Waukesha than Clinton did. He got 38.9%. And now if we go to 2016 and we'll look at Waukesha County, Hillary Clinton got 33.5%. So the raw vote numbers went up, but also the vote percentage went up. So it's not only did Joe Biden improve in the Democratic areas of Wisconsin, he also improved, at least in Waukesha, in that Republican area, he did better, which definitely added to his vote numbers as well, especially in a county with so many people similar to Milwaukee and to Madison. So that was Waukesha County. Back to the Green Bay areas, Brown and Outagamie County. Trump got 53.4% of these two counties when I combined them together. Individually, they got 54.1 and 52.8. When I combined these two counties together, and I got the percentage total, and I divided that by 200, because 100 plus 100 for two counties, 200, I got a margin of 53.4% combined. When I did the same thing for 2016, I ironically got 53.4% again. So these two counties, actually percentage-wise, voted the same for Trump they did in 2016 as they did in 2020. Down here in Racine and Kenosha County, Trump got 51.1% when I did the same thing when I combined these two counties. And in 2016, he got 48.7%. So Trump actually improved in these two counties, percentage-wise. The only problem here is, as I mentioned, these counties are smaller. When you combine them, they're still smaller than the amount of votes that Trump got in Waukesha County. So even though Trump was able to improve here and remain steady in the Green Bay area, the fact that Biden made improvements in Milwaukee County, and in Dane County where Madison is, and he was also able to get a few 10,000 votes gained in Waukesha County, that was enough to make up a bit of a margin where Hillary Clinton's 47% goes up to Biden's 49.6%. And Trump got a higher percentage of the vote in Wisconsin in 2020 than he did in 2016. So Trump actually performed better in Wisconsin in 2020 than he did in 2016. The only problem is Biden performed better than Clinton did as well, which was the main reason Biden won the state. Now we're going to get into some raw vote numbers themselves, just to show you where I'm coming from when I say that. Milwaukee County, Joe Biden got 317,527 votes. Hillary Clinton, in that same county, got 288,986 votes. So when I subtracted the total from 2020 to 2016, I got a margin of 28,541 votes. What I'm saying here is that Joe Biden in Milwaukee County, was able to gain an additional 28,541 votes. And if you look over here to the margins of victory for Biden and Trump, Joe Biden won the state with a little over 20,000 votes, about 20,000 and like 690 so votes, or 80 so votes. So the fact that if everything remained constant, if like every single county voted the same way it did in 2016, except for Milwaukee, which gave the boost to Biden, Biden would win the state by a few thousand votes because he was able to get an additional 28,000 or so in Milwaukee. But he was not alone there. As I mentioned, Dane County, where Madison is, Biden did better here as well. Biden got 260,121 votes in the state, or in Dane County, where Madison is. In 2017, we go back to the Hillary Clinton versus Donald Trump map. Hillary Clinton got 217,506 votes. So, again, I did the same thing. I subtracted 2020's total from 2016's total and found a margin of 42,615 votes gained in Madison, in Dane County. So, again, Joe Biden won statewide over Donald Trump by about 20,000 votes. If every county remained the same in 2016, except for Dane County, that was enough to win because he got 45,000. He only needed 20. But, of course, elections aren't always that simple where it's, every county will be the same except for the one that'll make the difference. It's always different. Things are always a little bit different. Sometimes in the case of these two and Outagamie and Brown, where you add them up and percentage-wise end up being the same, each election is different. The margins in each election is different. And these are the things you have to watch for. Because, look, more likely than not, all the counties here that go red are going to go red again in 2024. And all the blue counties are probably going to go blue again in 2024. The margins of how they do so, though, that's what to watch in a very close election, which Wisconsin is going to be a very close election. If this county, for instance, 55.9, 42.4, La Crosse County, if this election votes for Biden again, which it definitely will, if it's like 52-48, that's only about maybe a 4,000 or 5,000 vote swing for Trump, but that's very, very important. Because in a smaller Democratic county, if 5,000 more votes are going for Trump, similar how in Waukesha County, which I'll be going over, a few thousand votes here or there go up for Biden, that could very much be enough to win the election for the other candidate. Because again, there's only 20,000 votes separating Biden and Trump in 2020. And it was even, I believe, smaller than that in 2016. It was only 0.3%, 0.3%. So these margins of the counties that go red and blue really matter. It's not enough to say that, Trump won more red counties, so he won the state. Or vice versa, that the Democrats only won Milwaukee and Dane, so that was enough to win the state. The margins in which they do so matter, honestly, just as much or more than whether or not a county goes red or blue. Because say if Madison went 60-40 for Biden over Trump, a Democrat was like, Biden won Madison, that's good. Not 60-40, that is very not good. Trump is probably winning the state by like 5 points or 10 points if Madison is even remotely that close. So the margins of these counties are very, very important. And I'll go down to Rock County just again to show you. Rock in 2020 got 46,658 votes for Biden. In 2016 for Hillary Clinton, Rock County got about 39,336. So smaller county, not as many votes as the other ones, but Biden was able to gain an additional 7,300 votes or so in that county, more than Hillary Clinton did. That's why I'm trying to tell you is the margins improving a little bit, that gain a few thousand votes here or there, in a very close election and those types of things, that's what decides who wins the state or who doesn't. Very, very important to note. Now, it's not all doom or gloom, though, for Trump, because now we go to Waukesha County. Waukesha County, Trump got 159,649 votes. Go back now to 2016. Trump got a higher percentage of the vote, but look at the numbers themselves. Trump got 145,519 votes. So Trump, vote-wise, actually did better, which is why I'm saying, even though Trump's margin of defeat was 0.7% in Wisconsin, he obviously lost his time around, but Trump actually, numbers-wise, got more votes in Wisconsin in 2020 than he did in 2016. So you can argue Trump did better. It's just that Biden did a lot better than Hillary Clinton did. But Trump did better in Wisconsin than he did in 2016. And now we go back to the Green Bay area, Outagamie and Brown. These two counties I did combine for 134,256 votes in 2020. In 2016, they combined for 118,771 votes. So Trump gained about 15,000 votes in this area. Similar goes for Racine County and Kenosha County. 99,451 combined votes for Trump to 82,645 for Trump in 2016. So, just to reiterate one final time, even though Trump lost Wisconsin in 2020 and Biden got a higher percentage of the vote, he won by 0.7%. Trump, percentage-wise, did do better statewide than he did in 2016 in both percentage of the vote and in total vote numbers. But the problem for Trump is that Biden did much better in a lot of the more densely populated areas like Dane County, where Madison is, and then Milwaukee County, where obviously Milwaukee is. And that's in addition to a lot of the smaller Democratic areas like Rock County, Greene County, La Crosse County, Eau Claire County, like these smaller areas that have a few tens of thousands of votes. These remaining consistent or improving for Biden a little bit, giving him like an extra 1,000 to 2,000 votes in each county, was enough for Biden to make up like almost a 2-point margin to go over and upset the margins and gains that Trump made in Wisconsin. Because Trump made a lot of gains in Wisconsin, Biden was able to outpace that and get more gains in Wisconsin than Trump was able to. And just to do a quick percentage just analysis, I just picked a few counties I just wanted to go over. Waukesha County, this is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about margins. Trump got 59.7% in 2020, Biden got 38.9%. In 2016, Trump got 61.6% to Clinton's 33.5%. So actually, when you look at the margins, Trump won here in 2020 by 20.8%. In 2016, Trump won over Clinton by 28.1%. So Trump's margin of victory percentage-wise went down by 7.3%. What does that mean? Why does that matter? Because Trump got more votes than Biden. In raw numbers, as I showed you earlier, he got more votes over Biden in this county than he did over Clinton in 2016. That's true, he did. But the election is different. The pure raw numbers are different. There was higher voter turnout in 2020 than there was in 2016. People move in and out of the state. A lot of variables change. But the percentage of vote for Trump went down from 2016 to 2020 by just about a little under... I mean, when it comes to Trump only went down about a little under 2%. He went from 61.6 to 59.7. He did not go down all that much, only about 1.7, 1.6% or so. But Biden was able to go up over 5%. He went up 5.4% from where Clinton was, going from 33.5 to 38.9. And those few thousand votes there was enough to add to his total and give him a little bit of a boost in a typical strong Republican area. And then when you combine that with a Democratic area like Milwaukee and Dane County, then those few thousand votes, plus all the other smaller Democratic areas, plus the big densely populated areas, is enough to give Biden enough of a marginal gain to end up eking out a victory over Trump by 20,000 votes. I'm sure the Biden campaign was very happy to win Wisconsin. I'm sure they didn't love the fact they only won it by 20,000 votes and to not get above 50% of the vote. I'm sure of that. But the Trump campaign really shouldn't be all that upset that they almost got 49% of the vote in Wisconsin when they won it in 2016 by about 48% or under, or like 47%, like 47.8% or so. They should not feel sad about that at all. They just need to find a way in 2024 to mitigate the gains Biden will have in Dane County and Milwaukee County and shore up the areas like Waukesha County, like the suburban areas of Racine and Kenosha. For Donald Trump to win back Wisconsin, he has to keep the red areas red and make them redder, and he has to hope Biden has peaked in Dane County and Milwaukee County. If Biden is able to increase his margins like up to 75% of the vote in Milwaukee, or up to like 80% in Dane County, Trump, whatever Trump's gains are, I don't think will make up enough of a difference to win this state. So Trump needs to make sure the red areas stay red or get redder, but he really needs the margins of votes for Biden to go down in Dane and go down in Milwaukee. The problem also with polling is it doesn't do county by county polling. If it did, like if it showed that this county was like not polling all that well, that would definitely help out, but It doesn't really do it that way because that would probably take forever and be very difficult to find out. But that would be something interesting to see, is how people feel about Biden versus Trump in Dane County and in Milwaukee County. Because if these numbers are the same and Trump's numbers like are relatively similar to the rest of the state, I expect Biden will do the same and probably win. But if Dane County and Milwaukee County, the margins go down, I think Trump is at very least in business of possibly winning the state. And the last thing I'm going to do for the 2020 map, I'm going to wrap it up here with the 2020 map itself. I'm just going to go over Racine County and Kenosha County one last time, because I just want to show you, this is kind of what I'm talking about, wrapping up the margins question. These two counties combined, Trump got 51.1% of the vote of these two counties when you add them up. Biden got 47.5. In 2016, Hillary Clinton got 46.3% of these counties. Trump got 48.7%. So Trump's margin of victory in these two counties was 2.4%. In 2020, these margins of victory was 3.6%. Trump needs to do this in 2024 throughout the state. He needs to have like a 1.2% margin of victory increase throughout the state, at very least, to try and mitigate the vote numbers that are going to come out of Milwaukee and Dane. For the Republicans, it's all very simple. You have to win the rural areas and the suburban areas as absolutely biggest margins as possible, while trying to keep the vote total and number down in Milwaukee County and Dane County. And then for the Democrats, it's flipped. It's try to make inroads and gain more support in some of these more suburban areas and Waukesha County, where it's like a bigger population. Try to make inroads there and get more support in those counties, and then try and boost voter turnout in Milwaukee and Dane. And it's very interesting to see how Wisconsin's going to go, but I know for a fact it will be very close. I also briefly, I think it'd be a little bit unfair to mention a Republican winning Wisconsin without going back to 2014 and 2010, where Scott Walker, the Republican, was one of the first Republicans to win Wisconsin in a long time at the state level. And I just want to show this map because look at the numbers. It's not too dissimilar to how the map looks now. Kenosha, 54-45, 50 to 48. Racine County voted a lot more Republican than it does for Trump. So Racine County is definitely getting a little bit, I would say, more blue than it used to be. About 4 points. Again, 9 points. But Kenosha County is relatively similar. It's relatively the same. But again, a lot of rural, smaller red areas. Waukesha County was 72 to 26 for Walker over Burke. 72-26. Trump versus Biden, 59-38. Waukesha is getting, at least over time, has gotten more Democratic friendly, even though Trump is winning by 20 points. The fact that Biden got 38 and Walker versus Burke was able to get 26.8. Those 12% gained in this county, percentage-wise, look at the difference in their result. Walker won the state by almost 6 points, and then Biden won the state in 2020 by 0.7. So the margins, again, are very, very crucial. And then, of course, Madison, Dane County, went very blue for Mary Burke, 69-29. And then Milwaukee, 63-36. I actually believe that Walker did better. Yeah, Walker did better in these counties a little bit than Trump did. So that'll be something interesting to keep an eye on. Dane County definitely got more blue. But I just wanted to mention that briefly. And I also, for fairness, wanted to show what Tony Evers did, the governor of Wisconsin, who won re-election in 2022. This is the map he put up. Again, Milwaukee County, 71-28. Let's look at 2020 one more time. 69-29. So Evers outperformed Biden in Milwaukee. I'm telling you, percentages are very crucial. Percentages really matter when it comes to close elections. Madison, 78-20. Let's go back to 2020. 75-22, almost 23. Margins absolutely matter in a close race. Margins determine who wins and who loses when a race is this close. Evers outperformed Biden by a few percentage points in Dane County and Milwaukee County, and that's what won him the election. Waukesha was pretty much the same, 59.8, 39.5. So Tim Michels really didn't do too different than Trump, at least in Waukesha County, and he did better in Racine and about the same in Kenosha, maybe a little bit under. In the Green Bay area, let's see, 51.7, 53.46. So Tim Michels did about the same and a lot of the rural areas and suburban areas in the state where Republicans won. But Tony Evers did a few percentage points better in Milwaukee, a few percentage points better in Dane County and Madison, and those few percentage points gained gave a 0.7 victory for Biden, gave almost a 0.6% victory for Evers over Michaels. So I'm telling you, margins absolutely matter in a close election like this. Lastly, the polling for Wisconsin. Trump is currently leading in the polls in Wisconsin with 47.5%. Biden has 46%. There's very few things I can confidently say about Wisconsin for 2024, but one that I'm pretty much like 100% sure of, I don't see this state getting more than 50% of the vote for whoever wins the state. If Trump wins, he's probably getting around like 49.5%. And if Biden wins, he's probably doing the same. I don't think either candidate's going to break 50%. But definitely good news for Trump that he's up. But again, 47.5, 46%. That either says there's a lot of undecided vote or there's a lot of third-party vote that, at the end of the day, usually doesn't translate too much to Election Day. A few of those voters will vote for one of the two main party candidates because they feel they would be more beneficial to them and their personal beliefs. But it is good Trump is up, but Wisconsin's polling has been very shaky. In 2020, for instance, Biden had 51% of the vote, Trump had 44.3%. The actual margin on Election Day was 6 points less than that. So it actually very much underperformed Trump here. So maybe if you're pro-Trump, that will say, oh, maybe that's good news for Trump. If Trump's leading in this poll, doesn't that mean he's winning by a lot more in Wisconsin? I mean, I won't stop you from saying that, but as I mentioned, each election is very different. So you can't really just say, well, because 2020 did this, 2024 will do that. The election environment's different. The approval of the candidates are different. The economy's different. Social issues are different. Like, it can go on and on. So it's not always like apples to apples comparison since everything can be very different, but it's just something to keep an eye out for what the polling says. But exactly in Wisconsin, it's very shaky when it comes to trusting it. In 2016, similar, where Clinton was up about 6.5 points, Trump ended up winning the state with 0.7. And actually, it was very accurate when it came to getting Clinton's percentage right in 2016. But she didn't get any more undecided vote. Trump pretty much got almost all the undecided vote in Wisconsin and was able to get up to 47.2. So at least 2020 and 2016 showed Wisconsin does tend to undervalue Republicans in its polls. But again, you have to look at 2024. Is Trump's 47.5 still underestimating him? Or did, however they conduct the polls in Wisconsin, did that change that? And now maybe it is accounting for the Republicans more. It's not really like 100% sure that, oh, they fixed it and now they keep up for it, or no, it's 100% the same and Trump's going to win by like 8 points. We really don't know until Election Day happens. We can only use the polling data available, but at the end of the day, we really aren't sure until we get the actual votes. But sorry. And now I just want to show one more. Actually, two more, excuse me. The 2022 Wisconsin race, the most recent election in Wisconsin. In the margins, Ron Johnson, the senator from Wisconsin, was supposed to get 50.2%. They pretty much got that right. He got 50.4%. It just underestimated the Democrat by about 2.6 percentage points or so. So, again, it always seems Wisconsin polls seem to get one candidate right. When it comes to voting percentage, it gets one candidate pretty close, but the other candidate, it gets off by a little bit. This is one of their more like accurate polls that they did, was getting the Wisconsin Senate race right. This is one of the more accurate ones. Lastly, I'm going to 538 because I couldn't find any RCP data for Wisconsin governor's race. Tim Michels is up 48.7 to 48.4 over Evers in the vote, 48.7, 48.4. And now again, let's go back to the governor's map. 47.8 for Michels, 51.2 for Evers. So Wisconsin seems to be relatively good at getting one of the candidates' vote totals pretty close to right. But Evers definitely outperformed his numbers by a lot. So the polling in Wisconsin is very much like skeptical and kind of hard to trust. But I mean, look, at the end of the day, if you're leading in the polls, you'd always rather be up than down. And that's the end of it. You'd always rather be up than down, but still just use caution, especially in Wisconsin, because it seems to surprise a lot of people in every election that it does. So that is going to do it for my video today. Wisconsin and its 10 electoral votes. Again, I can't understate enough just how important Wisconsin is to both Trump and Biden's pathways to winning and becoming president for another 4 years. Wisconsin is super important and is going to be very, very important alongside of Michigan and Pennsylvania. So that'll do it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like the video and subscribe to my channel if you want more videos in the future like this. Thank you so much for watching and hope to see you in a future video.